Hi y'all, it's Anita. I am here to do a quick share of some tags that I completed for I think it's on Create More Spend Less, a challenge that Poet Spice was having. So I wanted to make some Christmas tags, and I wanted to get started early. So these are just a few of the products that I used. Some of them have these I Am Roses poinsettias on there. I used the Martha Stewart Doily Lace Punch. I think that, yeah, Sheena Douglas. I think it's called Roof. I just used the Santa on the sleigh on that one. I forget what this is called, but I think it's Poinsettia Leaves. I used the Sizzix Alterations embossing folder. The Spellbinders 2013 Snowflake Pennant. I didn't use all of them, but I did use maybe one or two. The Floral Ovals. I used maybe one or two of those, the larger ones. This paper I've had for a few years, and I was trying to use it up, so I'm pretty much done. I'm going to use the rest of it to make some cards. It's My Mind's Eye Santa Claus. I used one of the, let me see, one of these. It had a punch out in there. Yeah, I used one of those, and I think I used two of those. Yeah, one was like this. It was a Santa. I just cut him out, and then the other one was the punch. I didn't use any paper out of this pad. I used, there was like a pack of these, the American Crafts. You get 12 Christmas ribbons in a package. So I used a few of those. Some dollar store ribbon. I think this is from the dollar store. It's just a to from stamp. And I got this from Valerie on Junk Journal Junkie. So I used some of this trim in there. This Martha Stewart, I think it's called Twig Punch. Oh, I also used the Tim Holtz, is it Rosette? What is that thing called? I want to say it's a Rosette, a snowflake, layered snowflake or something like that. I used some of this, and I've had this in my stash for a long time. I don't even remember where I got it from. And this Diamond Dust. Anything else that I used, I will be sure to mention it while I'm going through the share. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and keep this short. So the first one is I use the Tim Holtz Ornate Frame Die. And then I cut it with some chipboard. I use some Snow-Tex on here, and this is the Sheena Douglas embossing folder. I just embossed it, and I went over it with some distress ink to make it seem like a blue night. So, and I hung it with some twine from my thing. I'm gonna stamp to and from on the back of here, and that's my first tag. I'm making sure I'm in frame. Sorry guys. So that's my first one. The next one is, I use one of those snowflakes from Michaels. It's just the wood shade. I painted it with some white acrylic paint, and I use again some of that Diamond Dust on there. I stamped my to and from on a circle punch and glued it to the back. This one I used the Spellbinders 2013 Snowflake die, and I also layered it with some I tucked in some like some little pearl drops that you will put in your flowers. I tucked some of those between there. I used some fibers underneath just to make it a little bit more shimmery. You can see some sticking out. I cut this out several times because they're really small, and I just layered them around the two different sizes, two different shapes of the die, and I layered them in there. I used a Hero Art stamp to stamp the Merry Christmas on there, and once it was dry, I just put some Stickles, I think it's called Stardust, and I smeared it with my finger, and it dried to the shimmer. And I hope you guys can see it. Let me try to bring it closer. So that's my first one, and I will post some pictures so you can see it a little bit clearer. The next one is a mason jar shape. I used a It's Sizzix Eileen Holds. It's a canning jar die. It has this one, and I think, let me see if it's on my desk. It is not. I don't see it. But it has this one and another one that's just a smaller jar. But I use this larger one. I use the My Mind's Eye Santa Claus papers again. This is some old, it's like glitter paper that I got from Michaels. Yeah, it's in my stash right here. So I just keep using pieces off of this until I get rid of it. These in the pockets, this one and this one, are from that Brenda Walton pocket die. So it's this envelope. It's made from that. The Santa Claus came from the paper stash that I showed you earlier. He was actually a tag. I just cut him out and tucked him behind so you can't see the whole thing. This is some trim that I had in my stash. Some seam binding that I colored up. I think I used some Glimmer Mist. And I have a bunch of it just up there, so when I want to use it, it's available. Some twine that was in my stash. And there was a little, where's my little tag? There's a little tag that'll stick back here that she can, and I'll include another piece of this, and you can tie it on here, and it tucks behind so you won't see it, and that'll be the to from. And on the back, I just backed it with some different color cardstock, and I think this is from the what is that paper called? It's a Victorian Christmas paper. I can't think of who makes it, but that's that tag. And my next one is I pulled out my silhouette and I made this little one. It's a shape from the Silhouette store, the sled is. And what I did is I offset it with some white paper. And this is from the Tim Holtz Festive Greenery die, I believe. This is just some little, I forgot what it's called, but it was in my stash. I have a drawer that's just for this. A bell that I got from Hobby Lobby. And what I did is on the sled, to hold it, I used some embroidery thread as if you're holding on. So that's the back of it. And the other one, I used the Tim Holtz Snowflake Rosette die. And I used my the diamond dust on there. I used some bling that I had. This paper is it's Vintage Christmas, and this is, I think, from Michaels. It's like 3 different colors on the spool. And this stuff, I just got it. I really like it. Let me see if you can see it. Can you see that? It's like the little pieces of stuff sticking out. Let me grab it right quick and I'll show you what it is. Sorry, guys. But I bought it in 3 colors because I think it would go good for Christmas and for fall. But it's this stuff. And they were on sale 50% off, and then there was an additional 20% off. It's Ashland Harvest Market dried bunch. So I have the red one. I have this green one. And it only takes a little bit, so this will probably last me forever. And I also bought one in gold because this one I just thought was too pretty. And I didn't use any of the gold, but I'll definitely be using it for some fall projects. So I got those, and I tucked some in behind the top. This one is the mini rosette, and this one is just the it just says rosette die. And you can kind of see the glass glitter on it. And then the other one, I found I just used a print and shape cut. I didn't want to die cut this out, so I traced it and then I cut it out on white paper. Excuse me. And the squares are just pieces from my scrap bin that I cut into 3/4 inch squares. Glued them down, and I thought I was putting them where instead of them square, they should have been like diamonds, but I realized too late I was like halfway down here and these had already dried, so I couldn't reposition them, and I wasn't going to try to start over. So I glued them down, and I took a red marker. These are supposed to mimic stitch lines. I wasn't too happy with this one, but I'll probably use it in my December daily. I'm just not happy with it, but it's good enough for a journal. And this was the top. I used some Recollections flocking that I've had forever, and another piece of the ribbon from Michaels, and I just left it blank on the back. And then this one is a die cut from the Silhouette store also, and it says we wish you a Merry Christmas. I offset it in some cream cardstock, and then I stamped it with a, I can't think of it. It's just like it's a background stamp. It looks like cursive writing. I lightly stamped it in the back, and you can't see it on the video, I'm sure. Once I glued it down, I went back over the tops of them with the glossy accents, and I sprinkled the diamond dust over the top. Let me see if you can. And you can see the sparkle on that one. And then this one, I used a dollar store snowflake, and you can see some of the glitter had fallen off, but I didn't go back and try to re-add it. So, and what I did is I put some of the eyelash trim on there. I put a little bit of tulle on top of that. Then I layered this rosette from my stash on top of that, and I went back and stuck some of the Martha Stewart little twigs in behind, just to make it look not so plain. I used some more of that American Crafts ribbon, some seam binding, and more of that little pink ribbon from the dollar store. I used an iridescent flat back pearl, it's pink, that I had in my stash. And on the rosette, I put some of the stickles on there. You can see it here, but I'm not sure if you can see it on there. And I have the hang it on the gift is iridescent pearl strand. So let me see if you guys can see it. And the other one, I used the Sizzix Floral Ovals die, the largest one in the pack. And I forget which paper this is. It's really thin paper, so I had to back it on here. This is just a shape that I cut out tracing around here. I used some Lindy Stamp Gang sprays on there. I think it's red and gold, gossamer gold, and I forget the red color. And I stamped to and from on there. I used one of the Recollections poinsettia flowers that Martha Stewart twigged punch again. More of the ribbon from Michaels. This ribbon right here is from Michaels. It was out during Christmas time. That American Crafts ribbon right here. I keep forgetting to make sure I'm in frame. One of the die cuts from the paper pad, and I just glued it and stuck it in there. And behind there, I just stuck some like some little plastic. They're supposed to mimic glass, just some little. I'm gonna call it an accent piece for lack of a better word, but I stuck some of that in there just to give it a little bit more on the tag. Okay, there's that one. And this one, I hand cut. I printed out the shape on the printer and just traced it onto some green cardstock and some craft cardstock. I used the embossing folder to emboss this, and I sprayed it with the, I want to say, scintillating silver from Lindy Stamp Gang. This is it's like a really soft green flat back pearls that I had in my stash. I used some of those. I used some tulle, one of the I Am Roses poinsettias, and I put the glass glitter just on the tips of it. This is a Martha Stewart, the punch that I put underneath, and more of the American Crafts ribbon. And I left the back plain. So. last but not least is this one. I traced it onto a piece of the paper. It was a silhouette cut, but I didn't want to use the red, and I accidentally glued on the wrong side. So I'll just use this as a template for something else. Some ribbon that I got from Valerie. This is some really old ribbon. I want to say it probably came from the Goodwill. And I used some, like some light brown flat back pearls that I have in my stash. I use more of that little foliage or filler, whatever it's called, floral stuff from Michaels. I put the red and the green up top, but I only put the green on the bottom. More of those little pearls. This is a flower from the Michaels $1.50 spot. It was either last year or the year before when they had them out. So I finally got to pull that out. I used some metallic paper that it is from, let me grab it. And I've had this in my stash for a while. So it's DCWV metallic cardstock. I just pulled the sheet out. Actually, I didn't even pull the sheet. I just cut what I needed out because you can see it was still kind of taped together. So I used some of that. The back of it, I used the Tim Holtz Festive, what is it called? It's a layering stencil. I did it with the Distress ink. I think it's Pine Needle and the Candied Apple. And then I also used a little bit of the Inca Gold on there, the one that you rub. So let me see if you can see it. And that is all of my tags, guys. I have a few more to make. I started this one, but I'm not done with that one. This one right here, and this is from the Silhouette. This one is that Martha Stewart punch. So I have a few more that I want to complete, and thank you so much, Poet Spice, for hosting this challenge. And I hope you guys enjoyed my tags. If you have any questions, please comment and leave them below. Have a great day.